Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to this 5-day, 5-hour online training on digital technology for children with special needs, organized by CIET NCERT, that is Central Institute of Educational Technology, and my name is Tanvi Khurana. You're watching us on eVidya channel number 6 to channel number 12, and today we are entering into the day 2 of this online training. Yesterday we covered digital technology for DIVYANG, its policy perspectives, its need and scope. We understood a little bit about UDL, we understood what inclusive classroom is and what are the policy perspectives. So there was a lot to understand regarding the digital technology for children with special needs. And today our topic for discussion is going to be digital initiatives for DIVYANG. If you have any questions, any queries, and you want to participate in this particular training, you're more than welcome. You can simply give us a call on our number, that is 8800440559, and you're watching us on our YouTube channel, that is NCERT Official. In the live chat box, you can write down your questions, your comments till 5 o'clock, and our entire team can access those messages, those comments, and we'll be taking up your questions, all the questions that you have in your mind regarding this topic, and we'll be taking it towards the end of this program. Till 5 o'clock you have a lot of time, so please raise your questions and feel free. And if you want to mail us your queries, the email ID would be training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. You can see it on your screens as well. So there are multiple mediums through which you can get in touch with us and be a part of this program. I really hope that you have registered yourself in this online training. Towards the end of this training, that would be the 5th day, that would be 13th of October, a quiz would be given to you, and the link will be given to you. You can participate in that quiz if you score more than 70%, and you'll be given the participation certificate. But for that, please allow us 30 days of time for preparation of those certificates. So don't hurry up and have some patience. That would be my request. Apart from that, there is no attendance link, so you do not have to mark your attendance anywhere. You just have to watch our sessions and be a part of it and raise your queries if you have any. So now let me please introduce you to the special guest that we have today, and she is Dr. Anupam Ahuja. Ma'am, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Tanvi. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure is all ours, ma'am. So let me please take a few minutes to introduce ma'am to all of you. Ma'am is a former professor and head of the Department of Education of Groups with Special Needs, and she's also the head of International Relations Division at NCERT. She has 39 years of national and international experience in the field of education with a focus on developing inclusive practices. Professor Ahuja has worked in more than 20 countries on numerous assignments on training, initiating, guiding and evaluating inclusive programs in Africa, Asia and also Eastern Europe. She is a member of advisory group to the UNESCO IBE, and the most recent publication titled Reaching Out to All Learners, a resource pack for supporting inclusion and equity in education, which is the new version of Teacher Education Resource Pack, Special Needs in the Classroom. Professor Ahuja has dedicated the last decade of her service with NCERT on making teaching learning material accessible, including digitally accessible for all children. Yes, when I say all children, we mean all children. Children who are abled and children who are disabled as well. So there are certain terms that we discussed yesterday: impairment, disabled, and multiple more. They are different, a little different from each and other. So here we are talking about digital technology for the children with special needs, and we are living in 2023, and this is the era of technology, and technology should be with every children, with each and every children. It should not be divided on any basis. So let's begin this conversation, and now I would request ma'am, because our title is Digital Initiatives for DIVYANG. So would you like to give us a brief idea that what are those digital initiatives?
Thank you, Tanvi, at the outset for the introduction, and welcome to everybody who has joined us on this second day. And I'm very happy to be with you to talk about what we have done with a focus on providing digital initiatives for all children, including those, as Tanvi said, who do not fall into the bracket which we call children who are normal, the so-called normal, because there is no child who is really normal, and we should not talk of them as normal and not disabled. We should look at their learning needs and address those, and digital technology allows us to do that. Let's remember, if I take you to I've prepared a PPT which is not visible right now. It will come shortly. I wanted to focus on this aspect of every child is a child who needs his or her right to be actualized to quality education. So we're talking of all equal, yet, you could add the word yet, all different. And let's keep this in mind as we discuss what we have done with this focus of providing digital access to every child. I'll start by giving you a brief outline of what I'm going to talk about today. I'll begin with focusing on some national policy issues which promote digital content. We need to place it in a context. I mean, all that we're talking about is not because I believe in it or my other colleagues believe in it or Tanvi believes in it, but because the policy has asked us to promote digital content for all children, and let's see how it has done that. And then I'll go on to talking about NCERT's digital initiatives which help to promote inclusive classrooms. We will revisit our classrooms and look at the inclusive aspects to begin with, and then we will take you through three very important initiatives that have made through digital access availability of a lot of learning opportunities to all children. We'll talk about a reading series which we have prepared for all children, and we'll also talk about how we have taken this learning into preparing accessible textbooks for all. And we will see that how this is very important in view of the fact that now we are about to bring in new textbooks. So we've already sort of preempted this need and worked on accessible textbooks for all. I'd share that with you, and I'll also talk about some other very interesting digital initiatives that we worked on during the COVID time, and that was also very useful learning. So let's begin by looking at the policy issues, the national policies that what does it say? Now, if we go back a few years and I take you to 2015, we had the Digital India program with a vision to transform India into a digitally empowered society and a knowledge economy, and this was launched by none other than our Honorable Prime Minister. This big initiative was followed by Diksha. I think all of us who are here with us today and who were here yesterday and otherwise have heard about it. It's a national platform for schools education, and it was launched to provide accessible e-content to all learners across all the states in our country, and this happened in 2017. We all have heard about the initiative which has put a big jump in our strides, and that is the NEP 2020, which came in July 2020, and this again was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister. And this policy, as we now know it for long, because we have worked on it for already 3 years, it has laid a special focus on use of digital technology to provide accessible content to children with disabilities. A much awaited policy which came after a long wait of 35 years has really given us a lot of energy to take this initiative forward. In June, just 2 years ago, in 2021, We worked on the e-content guidelines, and this was released by the Honorable Minister of Education. And this again ensures that the DIVYANG can access digital content with equivalent ease. So we are working towards actualizing the right of every child to, as I said at the outset, quality education. So this briefly, friends, is the national policy that has helped promote digital content. And now I go on to our own initiatives, and let's begin in a big way because it was taken up in a big way by us in the council, and with all seriousness we will talk about a reading series that we worked on. But before I do that, let's, as I said, peep into inclusive classrooms. If we see, friends, you all know that we have children who have special needs, some that are visible and some that are not. Our concern is with all their needs. We also have children who come from disadvantaged homes. Yesterday you heard how our policy focuses on all the needs of these two groups of children, and we have other children as well. Now, when we look at our children, some of them are in our regular schools, some study in special schools, and there are some still who leave our school systems. We often refer to them as dropouts, but are they dropouts or pushouts is something we have to think about. And there are also children who have no access to school. They have never still stepped into the boundaries that we call a learning setting, the school. So we are concerned about all these children and how we can make our systems accessible to them, and how we don't point a finger at the child and say that's something that you don't have or that's how you are different from others, but we look at our system and how we can change that so that all children find their place in our system and all children learn. So that's what we are has been our focus of our policy and all our initiatives in the council for many, many years. We believe that systems have to be flexible, school settings have to move towards being inclusive, and every school is inclusive. We're not talking of a utopian concept. Every school needs to work towards changing the system so that children can fit in, and we know that children are different. I mean, it would be a boring life for a teacher if they were all the same, weren't they? And we also believe in our practices towards inclusion that all children can learn. It's our requirement to learn how to cater to their learning styles. So the fault is not the child's, but it is our attempts, whether through digital mode or through other modes, to access education to them and to provide them quality. In this process, we have also learned that children have to be happy, and we work in the council collectively all for the children. And we remember, friends, through our digital initiatives that we will not leave any child behind. So it's all for the children, but for all the children. And that I thought I would say right at the outset to bring home the point of inclusion and inclusive practice to us. Let's now look at some initiatives which I promised that I will share with you during this time. And I'm going to start with something we worked on to promote good reading skills, reading with meaning and pleasure. And we worked on a reading series that we have in the council, and which research has told us has helped us really work on the reading skills and improve them with children. We call this reading series, as it existed, as Barkha, a reading series. Now we have worked on this. It's an innovative exemplar that we worked on to make our journey an innovative one based on UDL based and inclusive based principles, to see that how we can make this reading series for all. So our attempts have been geared towards exploring ways of making our Barkha series as it existed as a reading series for all, and we retain the name Barkha. So I'm going to now tell you about how this digital initiative came about, how a team at NCERT and nationally worked collectively on 40 stories that are part of this reading series, and how we worked meticulously to make it accessible for all.
Okay. That just that's something that arises a question in me. So may I?
Yeah, sure, please.
So can you say that these 40 stories and this entire reading series can actually improve the reading skills of all the children?
Yes, it has given, we have worked on this as a national team, as I said. We have tried it out, and what we have learned from our tryout is that it impacts on improving learning skills, making classrooms inclusive, and laying the foundation for inclusion in the early years. Inclusion has a lot to do with attitudes, we have learned over the years. And this digital initiative makes children think about each other's needs and read together in a way that they notice the differences, yet they accommodate the differences. So let me tell you what it's all about.
Yes.
And we have worked on it for promoting, as we just discussed, reading for all children. It's an innovation, it's an exemplar. And these stories that we already have with us are very close to our Indian context.
Okay.
So it's something that children see in their surroundings. You know, when they pick up a story, it's not alien. It's not, the characters are not away from their daily life heroes, you know. They are they themselves. So these stories talk about pranks of children, experiences of children, how they can build relationships, how they enjoy being a child. So it's small anecdotal experiences of children.
Okay.
A lovely set of books which tell us a lot. Let me connect back to the PPT right now and make you look at the statement that I make, that these are based on the universal design for learning. Now, if you see this visual, you will see, and I think all the viewers will agree with us, that the UDL telephone booth effortlessly accommodates the needs of the wheelchair user and a tall lanky boy by the girl. Now, this is what we are we have tried to accommodate in the reading series. We are very clear about what research has told us, that just one form of learning, that's print material, is boring for children. Most often children say, oh, reading from textbooks is boring. Reading just a book, you know, it's not. I need a visual. I need to have it digitally. I need to have access to it's some features which make me think that it's only for me. So no one single fit all is what we are trying to shun, you know, and we are trying to customize with these digital innovations and adaptations to the individual needs and requirements of all our children. Let me tell you how we did this. We did this remembering that children have varied backgrounds, they have strengths. We often look at only weaknesses, but let's remember every child has strengths, and once we look and notice them, we realize that their needs and interests are different. A child may like to learn seeing pictures, yet another child may like that same text to be read aloud, and a third child in the class may say, I don't want it to be read out, I don't want pictures, I want to try these, whatever is written, and experiment, and then I'll draw my own conclusions for myself. Now, that's what we should allow children to be, using digital technology, allow them to have these experiences where they can for themselves learn the way they want. The way we know that research has told us that the way children learn is as unique as their fingerprints. I mean, you can't really say both of them learn just the same way. It's not a mathematical equation 2 + 2 = 3. So this is something that we need to keep in mind. And the universal design for learning is an approach to address diversity for teachers to think about this, and we've adopted it in our digital technology issues and innovations as well, because we know that this maximizes learning for every child and it minimizes the barriers. So this is an approach we have adopted in this reading series. We also know that, as I said, print is not the only form of learning. You need, if a book is read out to you, Tanu, you will probably like it on one tired evening when you have finished work. You are sitting to study. Right. You would like a video with closed captions, maybe the chapter. You may also like an audio with a transcript. You may like to just access an audio book on a Friday evening, or have experience of seeing how the book is signed. Probably you may also like to learn using signs, So if we are giving all these multiple forms of representation that I just talked about, you are moving away from the set norm of just giving print to children. So digital technology, print, and all that I've talked about is something that we have tried to explore in this series. And we also realize that based on UDL principles, children can be assessed also in different forms. You don't just need to give them writing, an answer. They can express themselves through a picture, what they have learned. They can express them through a comic strip, a video they can make. So all this is part of UDL. And what fires one child may not fire another. The options to engage is something UDL talks about. So as I share more about this initiative, you will see how we have used these principles and the principles of inclusion and laid them down right in the early years through this digital mode. Now, many people joined us in this journey, and we held a number of national workshops, and all that I'm talking about is not just put together. It's research based, and a field tryout has been done as well. Now let me tell you what we have done. We have adapted the Barkha series in the digital version. Any child in any part of the country can access this. They don't have to disclose their identity. They don't have to pay us anything. It's free of cost. Okay? And it can be accessed on your computers, on your laptops, on your mobile phones, and on your tablets as well. Now, what does this give us? It's a simple version of the story. It tells us first, how do I use it? Because children, when they access things, they often want clear instructions. They look for them. So, and so do teachers, and so do parents. So we have got a how to use page in simple simple text written for them to make instructions clear on how do they access the story and how will they read. So that has, again, tryout told us that there are sometimes inhibitions young children have. So this is useful. We have the content of the story. You see colors flashing in this PPT. You can read it on a yellow background.
Yes.
You can read it on a white background. You can read it on a black background.
Right.
Now this is, very well, for children who have low vision and children who may have tired eyes, who may just want a difference. Any child would like this difference. So you see how it's catering to every child's need and also to the children with low vision. So this is how subtly we have tried to see that this version, the digital version of Barkha, every child will not notice the difference but will enjoy what is given to the child in this form. So the content can be viewed in 3 different backgrounds. If you want a larger print, the option to increase the size of the text and the images there. And there is, if there's a difficult word that you come across, suddenly you will have a pop-up of the meaning and the picture of the word. Now that helps children to read. They don't hold on to words, and they don't have to ask others what's the meaning. So it respects the dignity of the child. It respects the fact that we want them to learn with meaning and pleasure without having to say, this is the fourth time asking you the meaning. A child would not do that. The child would much rather gloss over the word. But this pop-up helps them. These flashcards appear and they highlight the keywords and pictures. And there is another thing that I made. There are many features which once you go and explore, and I encourage all the viewers to ask their children to read, and they themselves will enjoy these stories as well. There is another feature that has proved very useful, is an arrow. That, if you click on that, it helps you move and navigate in the story. So if you've lost a link, and if you're a child who has autism, or a child who has got some intellectual challenges, or a child who may be just distracted by the car that has gone by, or a truck, and he loses the link, the arrow helps you navigate back and forth to page 2, to page 20 back again, and this has become a very important feature to help them read with ease. There's a black border that goes around the visual in the story, which helps you again focus. We have played on the colors also. So if the text says talks about a certain character, that character color stands out from the figure. So it helps a child, say who has learning disabilities, to discriminate a figure from the background. So such features, you see, help every child and helps those who have certain difficulties as well. In order to introduce the story in a meaningful way, we have given sign video and also a small video as an introduction to which is regular video. So again, right in the young years, early years of life, we are introducing to children that to see a video where a regular teacher is just talking, and to see a teacher simultaneously who is signing, and you can use that option if you want, is natural.
Right.
So signing doesn't become something that is only for some. Children are exposed to this, and in this way we have seen that these features and introductions which ignite curiosity amongst children are one child, for example, said, I have never played Chupan Chupai. Now this introduction, ma'am, told me how the game is played, because it's a very small introduction, For example, I'll read it out to you, and this child said, I really liked it. Now the introduction is, we all like to play games, some inside the home, some others which we play outside. In this story, children are playing hide and seek. One child looks for the other who is hiding. Let us see how Jeet looks for Bubbly and his other friends hiding in different places, both inside and outside the home. Does he find them all, or does he need some help? Let us read the story Hide and Seek. Now you see, with this introduction, you would like to know what Jeet is doing and what is happening. So every story has this sort of a fire that ignites in the child, a curiosity to see what's happening. Let me pick it up and read. And that brings in reading with pleasure. That brings in reading with meaning, because you are not getting stuck on difficult words, you are navigating smoothly, you are able to increase the size of the print size according to your need. And this is something that we challenged ourselves, and we worked on it, and the tryout gave us a lot of positive feedback. In fact, I must share with you that we had one case where a father of a sighted child, the father was visually challenged, came and told us that this is the first time I have read with my child. This is the print version, that because we braille text to my son. He didn't know that I could read. So both the digital version and the print version has brought us lots of positives, and I would like all our viewers to expose their children to this material. Children's early experiences, we have learnt, have introduced features of inclusive learning material, and this we hope will create a demand for future, as well. And we have also learned that it's enough not just to talk about inclusion, you have to believe in it. And once you believe in it, you have to continue to work on it. So this is one experience I wanted to share with you. I'm going to leave this only with this much, And I want each one of you to, before you sleep tonight, to go to our website and look at this material and find its worth for your own children and yourself.
Absolutely. I'm sure, ma'am, all the children, they are going to go home and enjoy this reading series called Barkha. And I would like to congratulate not just you, but the entire team who has put so many efforts in this entire series.
Yes.
And because this is not just for a single children or a child of one particular
Yes.
caste, community, space. No, this is for every child.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Ma'am, the title itself says
It's a
Barkha.
team effort, and I am talking about it, but it has been a joyful experience learning together with the
Yes.
team.
Congratulations on the
Thank you.
success of
Thank
this
you.
series, ma'am. And because the title is Barkha, and I was just thinking that this word Barkha, it's not an English word.
Yes, it
So
is.
Is this an abbreviation?
Actually, this is not an abbreviation. Good question. Many people have asked this. The original writers who wrote these series gave this name, and we have of course retained it, respecting their innovation and their thought process. And I think the fact that it's different itself raises a curiosity, like you have just asked.
Right.
And it's not an abbreviation, it's just a name that we have given to the series. Probably the joy that Barkha brings is what it signifies itself.
It's true meaning.
Yes.
Okay, it justifies its true meaning.
True meaning, exactly.
And this the approach that you have given with
Yes.
this series, it's not just new, it's innovative, and it's totally necessary too.
Absolutely.
Any other initiatives, ma'am, from NCRT's side that you would like to
Oh
talk
yes,
about?
once we worked on this supplementary reader, because our idea was that this digital version should bring in the love for reading and the
Right.
joy. We also wanted to try this learning and we have taken it into making our textbooks also accessible.
Okay.
And this experience, as I said, is now going to come in very handy when we are going to work on our textbooks. Based on our new curriculum frameworks, work that we have worked on. Now, accessible textbooks for all is an initiative that I would also like to discuss, and I'd like to tell the viewers what we did in this. This is also available on our website for them to use. Let me take you through some thoughts on the accessible textbooks for all. Again, it's based on what we learned through our UDL experience with the Barkha, and it focuses on inclusion, and it's basically also, as I said right at the outset, actualizing the right of every child to be in regular schools, which is what our policy says, which is what the international mandates say, and what's also what our legal act says, So the fundamental premise is that reading is a basic right, and that must be available to all children. And that's what we worked on. And what did we do here? We picked some stories which are very popular and have been popular for generations, and we picked on some poems, and we picked them up from our own textbooks again, from class 1 to 5, and we said, let's work on this and adapt it to a multimedia mode. Okay, and this we thought would counter again the idea that only printed textbooks are the only medium of learning. It would also fill the crucial gap by going, as I said at the outset, that one size fit all approach. So we worked on each poem and in each chapter that we picked, and we tried to provide a multimedia format to the chapter. How did we do this? You see here something that the first bullet point says, sign language videos. Now you will say, ma'am, everybody looks at a sign language video. I mean, you don't need to introduce everybody to it. Our thinking is that you do need to introduce signing to everybody. And this video is complete in terms of providing an input for all children, including those who need a sign language input. So how does it do that? You see there is an illustration. There is a sentence which sums it all up. So there you have an illustration, you have an audio, and you have a teacher who is using signs, and you have subtitles. Now this then makes it a complete experience for every child. And that's what we have done here. Along with this, we have also provided an option for giving an audio track of the chapter to children. One which has highly dramatic storytelling with all the voice modulations, the sound effects, and enhancing the effect of emotions in the story, etc. A child may pick this.
Right.
Another child may not like this. So you have an audio track with fluent reading. You could pick that, and this is paced without sound effects, and students can listen to the story while reading the text on their own. So you have an option to go to a sign video, which I just explained. You have an option to choose between these two audios. You see now how it's a multimedia in a digital form. You have, the student has the option, and we respect that. And that's where you bring in interest in the reading process. And that's where children stayed glued to reading and not say it's a boring activity, you know. And again, what we learned from Barkha, here also we have given an introduction to the section to arouse curiosity, to build interest, and to scaffold the story or a poem as well. We conclude not in the formal way of asking some rote memory based questions, you know, but questions that are open-ended, that make a child think about the poem and express his or her own thoughts there, you know. So again, the way of asking children what they have read and making their own conclusions is left to the child and his creativity. And that makes it interesting as well. Here also we have given a glossary of difficult words, you know, and for which children may find appended with each story. So you see, these are some of the stories that we have worked on. We worked with the National Institute of Special Education, the Republic of Korea. It was a collective effort, and these stories, as I said, have been enjoyed by generations of readers in our country. They work towards revolutionized reading material on the principles of universal design for learning and inclusion. These two I have shared with you. I have some other initiatives also to talk about. We have in our CIT website e-Pathshala digital textbooks available from class 1 to 12. We have a mobile app text to speech available. We have sign language video programs that viewers can access. We have also developed tactile map books with audio programs, and we have audio books also available. Beyond this, I have one more experience to share within the time that we have, and that's based on something that happened during the COVID period.
That was in June 2021.
Absolutely.
So initially, when you mentioned Digital India and then these four initiatives, the main four ones, then Diksha, then NEP 2020, there came e-content guidelines.
Yes.
And what are these guidelines and how are they important?
Oh yes, this is very, very important for all of us to see why we worked on these guidelines, and as you said, what are they all about and how are they useful for children who have some form of special need. I'm going to take you through that now, and before I do that, I must tell you what these guidelines, you know, what's the foundation on which it rests. The aim is to promote equitable inclusive education for all children. And we know that our legal acts, the RPWD Act, which we discussed yesterday, talks about providing all children education under one roof. The NEP 2020 talks about equitable inclusive education and providing children with disabilities equal opportunities for obtaining quality education, and the SDG goals, we know, also help us ensure inclusive and equitable quality education to promote lifelong opportunities for all children. There is a common thread in all these three that runs, and that's equitable opportunities and inclusive education for all children. Now these guidelines are based on this.
Okay.
All to promote the development of high quality accessible content for children with disabilities and strengthen the momentum towards inclusive classrooms as has been envisioned in our NEP 2020. This slide tells you, makes you see what are the sections. If you see section 5 to 9 focus on various guidelines for disability groups based on the RPWD Act. We've also talked about guidelines for adapting print textbooks and making them accessible digital textbooks for all children. And we have recommended technical standards and guidelines and policy measures. The idea is not just to put anything that you work on Diksha, but to develop something which has certain required standards for children. And we have also made suggestions for compliance to accessibility and implementing how we can go around implementing these guidelines into the system. We have two very valuable appendices to this in this document as well, which talks about guidelines for producing sign language videos. I mean, they just don't happen. You have to again follow certain guidelines. What are the UDN guidelines? We have also discussed that. Now, these guidelines, when we are talking to people about them in this material, we have very clearly said that they have to be framed on 4 cardinal principles. And these are natural things, that a child would want in anything that's shown to him. The child should be able to perceive the content using any sense, whether it's sight, touch or hearing, right? Now, the child should have control because they don't like someone else manipulating it for them. The children should also understand and comprehend the content and the operations and instructions. And this exercise should be robust and children should be able to access the content on a wide range of devices. You know that the COVID period we learned that some children could not access desktops. They had to sit together in a group with one laptop or a borrowed smartphone. So we have ensured that when we talk about these guidelines, that we encourage users to follow these 4 cardinal principles. Now, these guidelines, as what we have developed, are based on what we learned from Barkha and what we learned while developing accessible textbooks. So it's taking that learning into developing these guidelines. And we've also learned a lot from the development of prototypes of accessible digital textbooks, which UNICEF has been working on for many years. Now, these learnings have been put together and pedagogical guidelines and issues are also discussed here at length. For example, giving an introduction in the mother tongue and the dominant language, providing instructions on how to use also in the mother tongue and the dominant language, using simple, easy to read language, providing a glossary linked to specific words, which I talked about, when I was talking about the reading material. We've also said that whenever you explain a concept, explain it in multiple ways, a diagram with description, a description which is interactive model you're using, flow charts or a decision tree. So, and ensure that you're providing links between textbooks and concepts and activities by showing images that support the purpose of the activity. Now, simple things like this, and again, don't use children as guinea pigs. Test the content with the actual target group before it is uploaded on the portal. Now, these are things that has helped many teachers across the country use them and come back to us, because we have used them in various webinars and in digital programs to make them popular, and we've got very good feedback. We've also learned that technology in itself and good pedagogy and good content have to go together.
Right.
You can't just use technology and forget that let the child be with it. No, good pedagogy has to closely be wedded to the technology, and then only is the content going to be picked up and elaborated on by the child. Compliance to the guidelines, both during the authoring and the publication, we have understood will help us make born accessible textbooks. We won't have to retrofit them like we did the Barkha series. We will produce learning material which is accessible right from the beginning and is available for all. And in these guidelines, there's a full section that just provides guidelines for how do we work on accessible digital textbooks. That's something that we have worked on very closely. We have also seen that these guidelines have been downloaded very extensively by people after our webinars and virtual workshops. I have given you the link here, and I suggest that in order to see that all children are happy like the one I've shown here, we use these guidelines and we download them and we try to understand them. We are happy to get feedback from you once you use them and understand them, and if there's in any way we can help you to work on these, the council will always be there to give you lend you a hand. With this, I thank you for this focus on the PPT, and I look forward to any questions that may have come in.
Yes.
And this very briefly are 3 important initiatives that we have, and I've also taken you through what our website, the CIT website, has for you to study and to explore for yourself according to your contextual need.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, firstly, for presenting this presentation, and the way you have made people aware about all these policies, all this Barkha series, and the approach towards it, and the aim of this entire training. Thank you so much for letting us all know about it. So we have received a few questions. May I?
Oh, sure. I'm ready.
You have shared the link for the guidelines.
Yes.
But we have received a lot of questions where students or teachers even, they are asking for the link for the portal of the Barkha series, how they can operate it online. Some are saying that they have even searched it on the internet, but they are unable to find it.
Okay.
Can you please help?
Yes, I'm so glad that in this 40 minutes that we've had with them, we have already kindled their desire to go and explore. Yeah. Go to our CIT website,
okay,
and just punch in Barkha, a reading series for all. See that I'm sure you can access it. The path may be something that you will have to explore, but it's there on our website for you to explore and to find out how you find it interesting for all.
Ma'am, here is the website. Can you help? Where is it?
If you, just, okay.
Here is the website.
Yeah, and so now you go to DGSN or CIT also, we can, departments. ICT, yeah, and training. Let's see this if it is here.
Scroll it down.
Yeah. I think they've just training for.
So this is Department of ICT and Training. We need the Department of
Education of Groups. Let's see that. Bharti ma'am has made a page, I think it's also available there, where she has listed her programs and the sign language videos.
Okay.
Let's see this, and then otherwise we'll go there. You know, this new, the change that has come, we are also exploring with you, but we'll get there.
Department of Education in?
Education of Groups with Special Needs, DEGSN.
With groups of special needs. So in the meanwhile,
yes,
let's take up another question that we have received. So it's not just a question, but it's actually a statement by one of our viewers, and he is Mr. Ashok Verma. He's saying, ma'am, we have to provide special educator to bridge the gap between children with disabilities and general teachers, especially in government schools where children from disadvantaged groups study. So, do you agree with it?
Yes, I think nobody can work on any child's needs alone, whether it's a teacher, regular class teacher, or the special teacher. It has to be a combined effort.
True.
You have to understand the needs of the child, see him with sensitivity and a sense of purpose for helping him in his learning, the way he learns, and that has to be a principal, a parent, a class teacher, a regular teacher, the older children in the classroom, the community, and children in the classroom. It's got to be a joint effort. You know, when we talk about accommodating the needs of children, expecting a teacher alone who may not have received regular training is really expecting a lot. But when the need is understood and the desire, the will to meet that need is there, I would urge teachers to demystify it in their head and to take small steps at a time till others join you, because a child's life cannot wait. A child's day, one bad day in the class followed by another bad day and a week, can upset the entire learning process.
Absolutely.
So what we need to remember is that we have to take small steps at a time which will lead to positive results, surely and positively, with a sense of purpose.
True, ma'am. So, for this link of the
Yes,
Burkha series, maybe not in this program, but we have this 5-day training.
Yes.
So, tomorrow at 4 o'clock when we'll come back, let's say that we will begin with this link, and we will share it with all our viewers so that you can operate it and you can learn more and more from this Burkha series and spread the word further to whosoever needs it.
Yes, and you know, when you wait for something, it's sweeter. Right. So maybe this small lag will help us clinch for you the series and its effectiveness in a more effective manner.
True. Thank you so much, ma'am. We couldn't take more questions, but more or less you have covered each and every thing, each and every query that our students or the viewers had. So thank you so much for being with us today.
It's a pleasure, and please, I request all the viewers, you have flashed an email.
Yes.
You can continue to ask us, because things will, as you explore, there may be more questions. Digital technology is always evolving, and we continue to learn more and more. Do share your learnings and keep us on our toes and stay on toes to serve all children collectively.
Thank you. With that message, we are going to wrap up this particular program, but let me just tell the viewers that we are going to come back tomorrow as well, same time, that would be 4 o'clock, same platform, NCERT official, and we'll be taking up your questions. A new topic will be there and a new discussion will be there. So thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for being patient with us and for watching the entire session. I really think that it has been helpful and beneficial to all of you. So with that, we are wrapping up this one, but let me tell you that how you can register in this particular training. If you have not done that, let me please briefly explain you the process with the help of the website. All you have to do is type CIET on any of your browsers and the home page will open. So let's have a look at the home page. Once you see the home page, there are multiple activities. There are multiple menu bars you can see. Yes, here in the activities column, if you click on it, the last option is workshop/training. If you simply click on it, another page will open, and here you can see in the current activity tag the online training on digital technology for children with special needs has been mentioned, and this is a clickable link. So once you click on it, another new page will open. Here the entire schedule has been mentioned from day 1, that is 9th of October, to day 5, that is 13th of October. Each date has a different title to be discussed by a new guest. This is the detail of this entire training. the objectives of this training, and if you scroll it down a little more further, here comes the QR code. You can scan this QR code and be a participant, or you can simply click on this link, fill up the form. Please make sure that you are putting correct spellings, and you'll be able to register yourself. Here comes the space for the quiz link. This will be given to you on the last day, that is 13th of October, and this will be valid till 23rd of October. That means you have good 10 days to be a part, and you can appear in this quiz. Here comes the QR code for any feedback, for any query, for any suggestion, advices. Simply scan it and put your suggestions. And similarly, this is the link. Click on it and submit your suggestions. Here is the email ID, like ma'am repeated, and I'll also repeat once again, training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. So what is the benefit of this link? This is one specific link for this entire online training. You can raise your questions not just now within this program, but later as well. Throughout these 5 days, you have a lot of time. Please raise your queries, and we'll be more than happy to answer them all. And here is the NCERT official, our YouTube channel's link, where you can access the earlier programs that we have done, and also what we have done today, and the upcoming programs will also be uploaded on this particular link. So let's just have a look. Before we leave, we have in front of us the link for the Barkha series. Please stay with us, and you can see that we have opened the Barkha series. Ma'am didn't wait too long, and here is the Barkha series. Please have a look at it. This is how you can operate.
NCERT.nic.in DGSN only, as we were going, and NCERT Barkha series /start.html. So this is where all the 40 books can be downloaded.
Right. Let me repeat it once again for all of you. This is ncert.nic.in/DEGSN/NCERT Barkha series /start. So once you open it, here you can operate this entire Barkha series. It's in Hindi as well. Please take the fullest advantage of this entire reading series and add it to your reading skills. Thank you. Thank you so much to all the viewers once again for being a part of this program, and now we are wrapping it up. Upcoming next is also a very special program called Sayog, where we are celebrating the Mental Health Week, and today being the Mental Health Day, we are going to discuss the topic that is mental health, breaking the stigmas, myths and stereotypes. So stay with us and raise your questions. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. I'm Tanvi Khurana. I'll take a leave of you. Namaskar.